This is my 1993 Dodge D150. What's going on, everybody? Today we are at that stage where we need to replace that head unit because I need to run the wires under the carpet. Don't have the carpet yet, but I can't put the panels in that I painted underneath here until I get the carpet in. So it's all stages, right? Got to get the seat in before I can build a sub box back here because I don't know how big I need to make it. So let's show you what I got going on over on the bench. Boss head unit, all right? Budget name, still quality. Has a CD player, USB, aux, and it's Bluetooth. Plus, I want it illuminated green. Had to have that option because every light in the truck is green. Simple wiring harness, match up the colors. It's real simple. I bought a separate harness, match it up with the manual, make sure everything is good. I solder, heat shrink, and those are good to go. People can complain about heat shrink all they want. Not heat shrink, but soldering your wires, but I think that's the way to go. It's just speaker wires, people. We're not talking computer stuff, all right? Behind the seat, we've got two 12-inch crunch subs, okay? That is gonna boom in a cab that small. But I listen to like hard rock, metal music, and it's a tighter bass. It's not gonna, blow my windows out. That's gonna power it. It's 1100 watt crunch sub, and those are going in the doors, right? So that's my 400 watt 6x9 three-ways. Those will go in the doors. This will power the subs. That will power the speakers. So more or less a budget setup. You can have a full audio system for under $500-ish. All right, so I got these as a 2-for deal on eBay. I got that off of eBay as well for a pretty good price. I bought that on eBay for a pretty good price, and that was Amazon because I wanted good door speakers. Those are good door speakers. And that, I don't remember how much they were, but the whole thing was $500 or less, all right? Crunch is a budget name, so is Boss, right? But they perform perfectly. I am thrilled with these. I've had these before. I just wanted a fresh, brand new set for Duke. I have used crunch subs before. This powered all the speakers in my other truck, but I swapped it out for one that had actually more wattage. That's 1,000, but I needed more. So I have used these before with great success. I like good sound. I'm not going to get into the whole total harmonic distortion thing and, sound waves and all that. That doesn't really matter. Most people don't understand it. I just want it to sound good at most volumes. All right. I don't ear bleed anymore. That was from high school. So now it's just normal volumes. And I listen to hard rock and I like a nice tight bass. I should have probably went with 10s, not 12s, but we'll see how it goes. So we're going to get that installed today. The head unit, that is. I have watched probably, 20 videos on how to take one of these dashes out. So I'll see if I can remember. But you got screws under here. Where are you? Screws under here. I know that there's one right there. So yeah, there's a lot of screws to take out. But this whole panel will basically pop out. And we'll see if we can get it out past this gear shift. I'm pretty sure we can. And while I have it out, I am probably going to spray it like I did the dash. I'm probably going to dye this panel if it doesn't clean up to my satisfaction. But we'll see how that goes. Okay, so 6 screws later, we've got the bulk of it out. There is the overdrive button here. There is a plug right back there I gotta yank out, so give me a second. Now that was a colossal pain in the ass. All right, you got this plug, and lighting sucks in here, so let's see. And you got that other plug right there. To get out of the back of this, what a pain in the ass. Anyway, let's get it going. Not that I could ever say anything bad about engineers, of course not, but that overdrive and that display module you'd think would have been mounted to the dash and the cover fits over it instead of coming off with the cover. Engineers, man. Even back in '93, they sucked. All right, 2 screws, one there, one there. Let's take them out. And naturally, like everything else, That's as far as I can pull that radio out. So I got to get my big ass hands in there to unplug them wires. What an absolute disaster of a design. But we got to do it. Let's get it done. Then check that out. Price, $10. Will it focus? This was aftermarket. This is an aftermarket radio. Not aftermarket, but a second radio for this. Wasn't even the original. But the antenna wire was what was keeping that from proper slack. This guy right here. But the other two wires were easy to pull off. And then you got to take this big guy off. This is the ground, aka safety strap, I guess. I don't know. But had to take that off. It's that bolt right there. And now we're out. There's another shot of that tag I wiped off. I don't know if he got it from a swap meet or something. But I know that in my previous video showed that he had replaced that speaker. So maybe he just replaced the radio and that one speaker. Who knows? You know, the things you discover on a 32-year-old truck. Look at that gauge cluster mounts. Everything is broken up top. All that's busted. It's like hanging on by hopes and dreams. The bottom ones are still good, but that top is completely shot. So I am going to take that out and repair that. I want to switch out the LEDs in these things anyway, because the lights are not bright at all. And then we'll put the radio back in. Well, we'll put the radio back in first, and we might call that a day. So what I'm going to do, I am going to repair that gauge cluster, but for today, I want to just get that radio in and go from there. So one thing I forgot to do was extend my ground wire. I am going to use, instead of soldering it, I am going to use one of these cool things. What it does is when you put the heat gun on it, that heat gun, it'll melt the solder that's in between, but the blue tabs that you see are glue. So it basically will seal, it'll solder the connection and then seal it so it's watertight. I don't necessarily need to use these for this application because that's usually for something that you're going to see a lot of water with. This is not going to see a drop of water from behind the dash, but I'm going to just try this anyway. I haven't used these yet. So got my new crimps and wire cutters from Temu. We'll see how these work. All right, so I got it in there. I'm going to turn this on. Now, a giant spider had crawled on the end of this the last time I used it, and I had turned it on, and it reeked. So I'm going to have to hold my breath. I'll get that hot enough where it melts that solder, and it's starting. You can see those blue glue tabs melted nicely. There it goes. Oh, I love these things. That will never come apart. Whew, that reeks. Fried spider. Just got to be careful. I started to burn that underneath. You got to be very careful when you do this stuff, folks. Don't do as I do. And that's it. So now I can put this whole bunch through the opening of the radio and just drop it down the back. I also have to connect the RCAs to the back of this because once it's in, I don't want to take it out. So I'm going to hack up my subwoofer RCAs to the back, and I'll show you that in a second. All right, so I yanked out the gauge cluster for Duke, my 93 Ram D150. And so basically what I'm going to do is repair the plastics. Okay, so there was these pieces were broken off on, it was all in there, but it was just snapped right off. So I'm going to do my best to try to repair this. I've got some plastic welding, staples and whatnot. I'll just see if I can get that just so it stays on there. It actually stayed in there really good with just the sides, the bottom and actually the side mount broke off too. It hadn't gone anywhere, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to get these back on there, and I'm also going to clean this up. And there's many videos on this. If you just look up LED swap, right? So I have green LEDs to swap these guys out for. These are way too dim, just way too dim. And they're notoriously dim from the factory. So I'm going to swap each one of these are the lights. So I'm going to swap those guys out and clean this all up, repair the plastic, and we'll see what happens. All right, so you can't even see where the crack was. That matched up so perfect. But that staple actually stood in there, and I didn't know how good 32-year-old plastic was going to weld in there. But I am going to try to get some right on that crack, just to hold it, in a couple different places, and just to see if it'll stay. Okay, well, that came out pretty good actually. So I put a variety of different types of welding connectors on there, right, as you can see, and I crisscrossed. You can't even see where the crack was. Right here, you can kind of see coming across. You can see where the crack was. And then I did this end tab. And basically what I did is I took this piece. All right, this unit was $9.99 from China, and it works like a dream, right? I'm not spending any more than that on a plastic welder. I hardly ever use it. But I used that tip, and I ran it right along the corners, like where the cracks were. As you can see, all these squiggly lines, just to weld that edge a little bit. And that's all I did. So I got, this big tab. I got this one, and then the one on the other end. Well, anyway, I'm not going to flip it over. This thing is very, very delicate. This plastic is extremely brittle. So this weld is probably actually stronger than the rest of the plastic. If I tried to wiggle that, I'd probably break the plastic somewhere else. So I'm not going to test it. I am going to start taking these lights out and replacing them with the LEDs. We'll see how that goes. So with the kit I bought for the LED lights, comes with the bulb. Well, if you want to call it a bulb. But it comes with the LED module, and it comes with its own twist, right? So you simply, put the light in that, you put it in there, and you twist it shut, right? So this is the old one right here. Whoopsies. This was the old one. So the new kit, I forgot all about it. It comes with its own plugs. So you don't, because a lot of these, you have to bend the wires sideways or something like that. This one just automatically fits in that housing. You pop it right in that hole. Easy peasy. Now, these three clusters, these three and these three, are for the idiot lights. And they have their own colors. I'm not messing with those. The kit came with 6 bulbs. So it's these outer ones, 1, 2, 3, and the same thing on this side, 1, 2, 3. And that'll light up the gauges and not interfere with changing the colors of your idiot lights, right? Which is your check engine or, your high beams, your blinkers. Those have their own colors. So we're going to leave those alone. And, in the future, I may swap those out for something else if I need them, but I think those will be adequate. It's the gauge lights that are really needed lit up brighter. So we'll see how that works. All right, so what I did is I took this plastic off against my better judgment, but I did. It's so brittle, I just did not. Well, anyway, I wanted to re-hit these needles. All right, so they were fluorescent orange from the factory, but all I had was red, so I hit them with a red marker just to make them show up a little bit brighter. Yeah, and I put the cover back on, cleaned the glass as best I could. It's old. This is like scratchy, anyway, I'm going to get this in. If those tabs break, fine. One hard bump with Duke and those will probably break anyway, so whatever. But it's going back in. We'll see what happens. All right, so essentially we're going to put this in reverse order. 2 screws in there. I had to loosen this to get that tab. There's a tab that hooks around the back of this. I had to get those loose. 2 screws there. The rest of the screws in here. The tabs are right there, ready to go. So we'll put the screws in, see how it looks. Okay, well, all the screws went in. This one over here is useless. That tab was just flopping. But it's in there. Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to be happy with that. Let's put the rest of the dash back together. Well, you can tell that this was an aftermarket radio. I shouldn't say aftermarket. It's a replacement radio. Simply because they put in new screw holes right there, and there's one down there that I noticed. So yeah, this is definitely a second radio that they got for $10, which wasn't bad. I wonder if he just wanted like a tape deck or something. But well, anyway, let's go ahead and throw this one in. Well, scratch that, because there's no way in hell it's going to reach. This is the antenna wire, and my port on this radio, on the new radio, is on the left side. The port on the right side of the old radio was over here. This isn't going to reach. I'm going to need to buy an extender. That sucks. Stand by. Finally got my parts in. This is what I needed. That was cheap. I don't know, $6, something like that off of Amazon. I also got, boom, a carpet. Finally going to get that put in. And I got my door trim. The weather seal. Got that all in there, ready to go. So, what I think I'm going to do, though, today's above freezing. Yeah, I'm still wearing shorts. Can't get out of that. What's going on, Frank? So I think I'm going to paint this, though. I'm going to tape off that section. I think I'm going to. I say tape, but I'm going to use the vinyl dye, and whoop, hit this. I cleaned it up. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. But I want it better. I want it to look nicer. So that's what I think we're going to also do. Oh, I still got to build a box for that. The more I look, the more I think I'm screwed on getting one that size and that deep. That's only 6 inches deep from the lip to the bottom of the magnet. Excuse me. But I only got about 7 inches of clearance behind the back seats of Duke here, of the seat. So I don't know. We got some thinking to do. And because it's cold, it's probably only, I don't know, high 30s in here in the barn right now. That I don't care how long this takes to dry. So that's why this is like last. I'm not worried about this at all. I'll just go ahead and tape everything off and hit it and let it take its time drying. Okay. It's just a little cleanup. Looks a little better. I taped off the unleaded gas. I still got a tape over the circuit board there. Info center, OD, on and off. Yeah, just cleaned it up. Look at it from this angle. Yeah, it's still wet, so that's why you see some shiny spots and some dull. So it has not dried. But even in this cold temperature, that stuff dries so fast. So all that's left to put this radio in is basically this is connected. This is the antenna wire. There was no slack. That was the shortest antenna wire I've ever seen. Would have been fine if the port was on this side, but it's not. It's over here. So we're going to go ahead and feed the radio in. We're going to plug in these plugs from the back of the radio to the wiring harness that's already in the truck. And we're going to feed through, probably do this first, feed through the RCAs so they come down the bottom and out. And that's basically it, and we'll get it all squared away. All right, so we have the cords fished through, right? The amplifier turn-on wire. Oops, I did not fish that through. Just do that right now. Slip that through the hole. Navigate some wires in there. And there it is, coming out from under the dash. All right, so now you got your amp turn on, your RCAs to give the audio signal to the amp. You got your plugs. It's obviously they're keyed, and they're gray to gray, black to black, and your antenna wire. We're just going to stuff this in there, put the 2 screws in, and we're going to call that part done. And there we have it. So the radio is in, 2 screws, boom, boom. I used the original mounting screw holes, not what the guy before me did. He created his own holes. I used the originals. We'll see if that comes back to haunt me later when I put the dash plate on. I don't think so, but you got to finagle with some of the wires. You got to kind of stuff them and push them in this way and that way because there's ductwork back there for the heat and AC. So I just had to, there's vents and all that. So I just have to stuff a little bit so you can slide this in easy. But I've got my amp turn on, my ground, and my RCAs. The ground, look at the dirt dauber nest. The ground I'll put on the firewall, just scrape with a self-tapper. Ground is critical. If you screw up the ground, you could get a lot of noise in your music. So make sure you have a really good ground. But yeah, so we're done with this part. I'm not even going to turn it on and test it or anything until later. I'm still waiting for the dash plate to dry, and we'll get that in. But other than that, this radio installation is complete. Now, the radio installation is complete. Still got door speakers to do, run the RCAs for the amp and the subs for the back. So the RCAs, when you run them, this is important. Run them separately from your power wire, right? So I'm going to fish from the battery through the firewall, down along this rail, and then over to my sub, right, and my amplifier. That's going to go behind the seat. And I'm going to run that probably on the other side. I got plenty of wire, but I can run it under the dash and down that channel and over this way. Simply because there could be a lot of noise interference when you have that much juice next to a signal wire that provides audio. I don't know the technical aspects of it, but I know that I've always been told, and I've read it everywhere, run those separate from your power. And that's a pretty big deal. Make sure you do that. All right, so I'm going to wrap this video up here. We have come a long way with this interior. Dash looks phenomenal. I got the bezel all painted. That's just drying. That's going to go in good. I've got the radio now in. Wires are going to run under the carpet. Headliner is done. Visors, I don't think I showed you in that last one. Those are done. The trim all the way around the roof and around the doors, all done. The next episode, carpet, sills, back. I'm going to put that bezel back in, and the steering wheel covers. Those are all in and painted. And yeah, we're going to get that all squared away and try to get this darn thing buttoned up and get the seat back in. Remember, I've already dyed the seat. Frank is holding it down. This is going to go back in there. I am going to do something else with the headrests, but for now, this is going to go right back in there. And, weather stripping. That's right. The weather stripping for the doors is in, so I'm going to get that put on. Next episode is going to be full. We're going to try to button up this interior and be done with it so I can get to real wrenching, which is taking this bed off, fixing the gas tank because the strap broke, and I noticed some frame rot where the gas tank sits on the frame rail. So that's going to be busy work. So we're going to get that done. But thanks so much for joining me. Give me a like, subscribe, leave me some comments. We'll catch you on the next one. God bless you.